Love playing as a paladin? Want to create an unstoppable all-rounder in heavy armor, crushing bosses with powerful attacks and incredible self-healing? Then you've come to the right place. I spent 60 hours testing strength and faith setups to build that character. I checked different weapons at each stage of the game, then tested each seals and buff combinations. In this video, I'll walk you through building the strongest paladin in the game, from Sight of Grace all the way to the credits. You'll learn where to grab each weapon, spell, and talisman, and in what order to pick them up, so you're never underleveled for what's next. And I'll save you from the mistake that ruins most faith builds in the endgame, a problem you only notice after 80 hours of play. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive in. Starter setup. Let's pick the first class for our character. We'll go with Confessor. The Confessor starts at level 10 with 12 strength, 14 faith. You spawn with a broadsword, a blue crest heater shield that blocks 100% physical damage, a finger seal for casting, and 2 starting incantations, Urgent Heal and Assassin's Approach. For the keepsake, grab the Golden Seed. Using 1 extra flask charge during Margit, that extra charge is the difference between a kill and a loading screen. Once you spawn in, head straight to the Church of Ela and buy the crafting kit from Calais. Ride to Gatefront Ruins next. Touch the Sight of Grace, and Melina appears. Now you can level up, unlock Torrent, and the build starts moving. Go underneath the ruins and pick up the Whetstone Knife. We need this later for applying Ashes of War. Now that we've looted the Tarnished starter pack, we need some runes and a cool weapon. Let's start with the runes. Run to this spot on the map to pick up the Morning Star. It lets us apply the bleed effect to enemies, which will help us farm runes. After picking it up, run to the Third Church of Marika right here on the map. Go around the back, enter the portal, and we'll end up in Caelid. From the gargoyle, run forward across the bridge, jump up using the Spirit Spring, and we'll end up near Fort Faroff. Next to the fort, there will be a sleeping dragon. Equip the Morning Star and bleed it down with the Morning Star. That one dragon hands you 74,000 runes. You can get the rest of the runes needed for level 50 near this shrine down below by rolling the balls. At level 53, your stats should look like this. Vigor 25, so Margit's delayed hammer swing doesn't end you in one hit. Mind 14, for casting 2 buffs and a couple of lightning spears per fight. Endurance 18, because medium armor and a greatsword eat stamina. Strength 20, for weapon requirements. Dexterity stays at 12, Intelligence stays at 9, Faith goes to 25 because Golden Vow is a great aura buff that unlocks at that number. Arcane stays at 9. That's it for stats and runes for now. Early weapon. The Winged Scythe. This thing looks like an angel tore it off a cathedral ceiling and brought it to war. It deals split physical and holy damage, scales with strength and faith, and its weapon skill, Angel's Wings, launches a jumping double slash that blocks enemy healing for 8 seconds. In PvP, that shuts down flask use. In PvE, it staggers good. Its stat requirements are 16 strength, 16 dexterity, 24 faith. We're short on dex and faith at level 50, but 2-handing drops the strength requirement, and the 2 Fingers Heirloom Talisman, which I grab in the next section, adds +5 faith for free. That covers the gap until our stats catch up through leveling. To grab it, I ride south to the Weeping Peninsula, past the Bridge of Sacrifice. I follow the road south until I hit the Tombs Ward ruins. A staircase leads down to a basement, and you can see a chest that sits inside, and I took the weapon inside. The reach is solid for a Reaper weapon, the holy damage prevents skeletons from reviving, and Limgrave is crawling with them, and Angel's Wings hits harder than most weapon skills at this upgrade level. Each swing feels like divine punishment. We need a second weapon too, something with more range and versatility for different situations. Sacred Blade Ash of War. This Ash of War does two things at once. It coats your weapon in golden holy damage for 20 seconds, and it launches a projectile that travels about 15 meters in a straight line. The projectile staggers lighter enemies, chunks medium ones, and kills undead without letting them revive. I head north from the Third Church of Marika in Mistwood, following the cliff edge, until I spot a teardrop scarab rolling near the spirit spring. Kill the scarab. It drops the Sacred Blade Ash of War. I apply Sacred Blade to my broadsword and set the affinity to Sacred. That converts the weapon's scaling to Faith, so every point I invest in Faith boosts both my sword damage and my spell damage at the same time. Now I'm carrying two weapons, both the Winged Scythe for big melee damage and style, and the Sacred Broadsword for ranged holy projectiles and utility. I swap between them depending on the enemy. Before leaving Limgrave, I want a better shield. The Blue Crest Heater Shield works, but the Brass Shield outperforms it at every upgrade level. It drops from shield-carrying soldiers near Gatefront Ruins and Waypoint Ruins, 100% physical block, and at plus 25 it reaches 69 guard boost, which means I lose less stamina per blocked hit. For a paladin who plans to guard counter through the mid-game, stamina efficiency matters. Early spells and buffs. We need spells and incantations for the Paladin build. Lightning Spear is our range damage tool for the rest of the game. It fires a bolt of lightning for 18 FP, deals 234% of incantation scaling uncharged and 293% charged, and casts fast enough to punish boss recovery windows. Standing in water takes even more damage. To unlock it, I need the Dragon Cult Prayer Book. A Lanedell Knight drops it south of the Artist's Shack in Liurnia. He patrols near the road. I kill him, take the book, and bring it to Muriel at the Church of Vows. The giant turtle pope sells me Lightning Spear for 6,000 runes. Flame Grant Me Strength is a body buff that boosts physical damage by 20% and fire damage by 20% for 30 seconds. Our paladin deals split physical and fire on several weapons down the line, so both halves connect. The incantation stat requirements are 15 faith and 28 FP per cast. To grab it, I teleport to the Smoldering Wall Site of Grace in Caelid and head west toward Fort Gale. Behind the fort, between two flame chariots, a corpse holds the spell. I snag it and sprint out before the chariots roast me. Urgent Heal stays slotted from the starting kit. At base, scaling it restores about 350 HP, costs 16 FP, and casts fast. No need to upgrade our healing spell until Volcano Manor. The Finger Seal from our starting gear handles casting for now. At 25 faith with a few upgrades, it gives enough incantation scaling to push Lightning Spear past 300 damage per throw when fighting in Stormvale. Talismans and Physic. The talisman we are going to use is the Two Fingers Heirloom, which gives plus 5 faith. With this equipped at 25 base faith, I'm running 30 effective faith. That lifts my incantation scaling, my sacred weapon damage, and lets me equip the Winged Scythe. I find it in the Purified Ruins in southern Liurnia. A hidden staircase in the ruins leads to a basement chest. The crystal tiers I'll use for my Flask of Wondrous Physic are Faith Knot Crystal Tier and Crimson Burst Crystal Tier. The Faith Knot Crystal Tier gives plus 10 faith for 3 minutes. Stacked with the Two Fingers Heirloom, I'm adding 15 free faith levels to my character. That's a massive casting boost without spending a single rune. I grab it from a stone bowl south of the Demi-Human Forest ruins in the Weeping Peninsula. The Crimson Burst Crystal Tier gives steady HP regeneration over 3 minutes. Passive regen patches chip damage between boss swings without burning flasks. I can survive thanks to my sustained healing. I collect it from the Erdtree avatar at the minor Erdtree in the Weeping Peninsula. I buff with Flame, grant me Strength, then drink my Flask of Wondrous Physic. Margit opens with the dagger throw. I roll through, close the gap, and start swinging with the Winged Scythe. He jumps across the arena. I swap to the Sacred Broadsword, fire a Sacred Blade projectile, and the Golden Wave catches him mid-landing. Phase 2 is where the hammer comes out.
Oh my god!
His combos stretch longer, and he starts delaying swings to bait early dodges. I stay patient, block the opening hit with the Brass Shield, dodge the follow-up, and guard counter when he finishes his string. I killed Margit in 34 seconds and attacked him with 1,187 damage per opening. Godrick is next. I push through Stormvale, collect smithing stones along the way, and upgrade the winged Scythe to +3 using Somber Stones. I buff up, walk through the fog, and his first phase crumbles under Angel's wings. Phase 2, when the dragon head gets grafted onto his arm, I circle behind him during the fire breath and punish his recovery frames. I killed Godrick in 28 seconds and dealt 1,542 damage per opening. While the sped up footage plays on screen, I activate his Great Rune at the Divine Tower of Limgrave. The important part, Godrick's Great Rune gives +5 to every stat. I'm going to use my Paladin build by splitting investment across Strength, Faith, Vigor, and Endurance. Those 20 free stat points matter. Pop a Rune Arc before each boss from now on. After unlocking the second talisman, I grab the Green Turtle Talisman from Summon Water Village. It boosts stamina recovery by about 8 per second. I can guard more because of my stamina recovery, and fewer moments where I'm standing still with an empty bar, praying the boss doesn't swing. The early Paladin kit is now online, with Wing Scythe for Weapon 1, Sacred Broadsword for Weapon 2, Brass Shield for Shield, Lightning Spear for damage, Flame Grant Me Strength for buff, Urgent Heal, Two Fingers Heirloom, and Green Turtle Talisman. Mid-game. We have 3 things to transform this build. The Golden Vow is a good incantation for a paladin in Elden Ring. It's an aura buff, 15% more damage dealt, 10% less damage taken, lasting 80 seconds. Allies in range get the same boost, which makes you a nice co-op partner in the game. I found it at the Corpse Stench Shack on Mount Gelmir. To reach Mount Gelmir, I take the route through ruin-strewn precipice from northern Liurnia, fight the magma worm at the top, push into Altus Plateau, and follow the road west into the volcanic region. 2 prawn miners guard it. I kill them. The incantation sits on a corpse behind the shack. Grab Golden Vow and slot it, and its incantation stat requirement is 25 faith and uses 47 FP. The Erdtree seal will be the main seal to use now. This is our endgame casting focus. It requires 40 faith to equip and scales with faith alone. At 50 faith and +10 upgrade, it gives 285 incantation scaling. At 80 faith, it reaches 353 scaling. We can't equip it yet since we need 40 faith, but I'm picking it up now because the location becomes inaccessible if you progress too far. I find it in Volcano Manor's Prison Town Church area, near the Omen Killer enemy. A corpse holds the seal, and here is the full route on screen. Our next weapon we will get is the Blasphemous Blade. This great sword requires 22 strength, 15 dexterity, and 21 faith. It deals split physical and fire damage. It scales with strength, dex, and faith. 2 properties make it a nice paladin weapon in Elden Ring. First is you heal on every kill and about 6.5% of max health plus 40 flat HP per enemy you finish off. In a room full of soldiers, you walk out healthier than you walked in. Second is the weapon skill, Taker's Flames. You raise the sword overhead, slam it into the ground, and send a wave of fire across the floor. The wave deals 100% fire damage that scales with faith, restores your HP on hit, and reaches enemies 10 meters away and does 26 HP per cast, and at 35 faith and +5 upgrade, each wave deals about 900 damage. To get the Blasphemous Blade, I beat Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy, at Volcano Manor. The fight has a gimmick. A special spear called the Serpent Hunter sits at the arena entrance. Pick it up, use its weapon skill, and it tears through both of Rykard's phases at any upgrade level. I kill Rykard, take his remembrance to Enya at Round Table Hold, and exchange it for the Blasphemous Blade. Mid-game stats and armor. At level 80, stats should look like this. Having a vigor of 40 is the first soft cap. Bosses from here on hit hard enough to two-shot anyone below 1,400 HP. 40 vigor gives about 1,450 HP, which is the comfort zone. Pointing 18 points on the Mind stat is enough HP to cast Golden Vow at 47 HP, Flame Grant Me Strength at 28 HP, and squeeze in 2 Taker's Flames during the fight. Investing 25 points on the Endurance stat makes me medium roll on Heavy Armor. I'll put 25 points to the Strength stat so I can use the Blasphemous Blade, and Dexterity to 15 for the Blasphemous Blade's second weapon stat requirement. I invest Faith to 35 because Taker's Flames scales with Faith. Golden Vow's buff is a flat percentage that doesn't scale. 35 Faith pushes the Finger Seal's incantation scaling high enough to make Lightning Spear hit for over 500 per throw. Intelligence and Arcane stay at 9. The armor we will use is the Tree Sentinel set, which is the gold standard. Full golden plate, high poise, strong resistances, and the look of a warrior who walked straight off a cathedral painting. I head to Ariza Hero's grave in the capital outskirts. Three merciless chariots patrol the halls inside. To defeat them, you need to hide in the openings in the walls. Sometimes there will be a little company waiting for you there, so be ready. The complete set gives 82 poise, which means I cannot be staggered by bosses and enemies. Combined with the brass shield and guard counters, this paladin build will be good for the mid-game. Mid-game build will be tested on Renala, and she sits in the Raya Lucaria Academy, and she's weak to physical damage. Phase 1, I pop her glowing students with Sacred Blade projectiles from across the room. She falls from her bubble. I cast Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength while she's lying on the ground, because the phase transition gives me a free 6-second buff window. Phase 2 starts. I walk past her summons, ignore them, and fire Taker's Flames into her face. She staggers. I cast the Taker's Flames 2 times and dies before she deals more damage to me. I defeated Renala in 22 seconds on Phase 2 and did 2,140 damage per opening. Renala's defeat unlocks Respec. If you messed up stat distribution earlier, visit her at the Grand Library with a Larval Tear. Grab Larval Tears from Nokron after beating Radagon, or buy one from Pydia at Caria Manor.
Nice.
I push through Altus Plateau, clear the capital outskirts, and reach Morgott. Drink the Flask of Wondrous Physic and use the aura buff Golden Vow. I walk through the fog, then body buff Flame Grant Me Strength, and fight. First phase, aggressive Taker's Flames after each combo he finishes. He swings 4 times, pauses, and I fire the Flame Wave into his recovery. Phase 2, he starts the Rain of Holy Daggers. Wait for his ground combo, and punish again. I killed Morgott in 31 seconds, and I did 2,380 damage per opening. Morgott is the first real challenge. Long combos, delayed swings designed to bait panic dodges, and holy damage that bites through armor. The Blasphemous Blade's healing passive keeps me alive when I keep hitting. Each Taker's Flames that connects heals me for about 200 HP while dealing 1,800 damage. That's the mid-game paladin in one sentence. You end fights with resources to spare. Endgame. Iron Man. Everything inside the mountaintops of the giants here hits harder than Morgott. Enemies here have more HP than the last 3 bosses combined. The mid-game build carried me this far, but the climb demands a final form. This is a level 150 build. You'll reach 150 through normal play or by farming birds at Mogwin Palace for 20 minutes. At level 150, stats look like this. Have a vigor of 60 is the last soft cap, about 1,900 HP at base, and with Morgott's Great Rune active, is a good rune for health-focused builds, I push past 2,000. Endgame bosses need 3 clean combos to kill me at that number. It'll make my mind 22 so that I have FP to run the full buff rotation and cast Taker's Flames 3 times before I drink again. If I need more, the Cerulean Hidden tier in my Physic gives 0 FP cost for 1 spell. Having an endurance stat of 30 is for heavy armor, great shield, and great sword. The equip load headroom is tight without this. Dexterity stays at 15. With Faith of 50, our Taker's Flames damage, Lightning Spear damage, Erdtree Seal scaling, which I can now equip at 40 plus Faith, and healing output is good healing power. At 50 Faith with a plus 10 Erdtree Seal, my incantation scaling hits 285. With an intelligence stat of 9 and arcane 9 should not be touched. If your stat spread is off, visit Renala at the Grand Library with a larval tier. You get 18 tiers in the base game and 9 in the DLC. That's 27 respecs per playthrough. Weapons. The Blasphemous Blade stays as my primary for sustain, and I need to swap weapons because holy damage needs more damage in the last parts of the game. The AoE weapon we are going to use for this Paladin build is the Sacred Relic Sword. This great sword comes from the Elden Remembrance, which means you can't get it until after the credits on a first playthrough. Its weapon skill, Wave of Gold, fires a massive golden arc across the ground in a wide cone, about 20 meters long, and it costs 42 FP to use it, and deals 100% holy damage scaling with Faith. In crowded zones like the Haligtree or Mohgwyn Palace, one wave of gold can kill a large group of enemies. I need to fix the problem that Radagon and the Elden Beast both have 80 holy damage negation out of 100, so I'll need Maliketh's Black Blade for the final fight. This colossal sword comes from Maliketh's Remembrance after beating him at Crumbling Farum Azula. Its weapon requirement is 34 strength, 12 dex, 20 faith, and it scales with strength and faith. The weapon skill, Destined Death, plants the blade in the ground and launches a projectile that cuts 10% off the target's maximum HP and applies a damage over time burn lasting 15 seconds. The HP reduction ignores elemental resistances. I can shave 10% off a boss's health bar, whether they resist holy, fire, or lightning. Stack Destined Death with the Black Blade incantation, also from Maliketh's Remembrance. If you choose the incantation over the weapon on your first exchange, then get the second from the Walking Mausoleum. Casting 2 Black Blades deals 20% of the boss's max HP. Upgrade all 3 to plus 10 using Somber Smithing Stones. You can buy unlimited Somber Stones up to level 9 from the Twin Maiden Husks after turning in Bell Bearings. The Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone for the plus 10 cap is hard to find in the game, to about 8 per playthrough in the base game, with more in the DLC. Talismans, Shield, and Seal. This will be the 4 talismans we are going to use for this build. I find the Erdtree's Favor plus 2 at Leyndell in Ashen Capital, after Maliketh, and it is beside the 3 lesser ulcerated tree spirits in the courtyard. This talisman boosts my max HP, stamina, and equip load in 1 slot. Shard of Alexander is the final reward for completing Iron Fist Alexander's questline through Crumbling Farum Azula. This talisman boosts my weapon skill damage by 15%. Taker's Flames, Destined Death, and Wave of Gold all benefit from this. The Sacred Scorpion charm can be found at the Millicent's questline. This talisman increases my holy damage by 12% at the cost of a minor defense reduction. For a build running holy damage on most weapons, 12% is worth the trade. The 4th slot is Flex. My default, the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman from Crumbling Farum Azula. It boosts physical damage negation by a large margin, which patches the Paladin. For more offense, swap in Godfrey Icon from the Golden Lineage Evergaol on Altus Plateau. This talisman increases it by 15% more damage on charged spells and skills. A charged Lightning Spear with Godfrey Icon and the Gravelstone Seal punches past 1,200 damage at 50 faith. I can use Shield like the Brass Shield at plus 25, remains reliable for the entire game. For harder fights, the Erdtree Great Shield, 30 strength, 13.5 weight, adds a unique trick. Its skill, Golden Retaliation, reflects incoming spells back as holy projectiles. Against the Elden Beast, who spams ranged holy attacks, you turn its offense into your damage. The Erdtree Great Shield drops from the Tree Sentinel duo at the Outer Wall Phantom Tree Grace in Altus Plateau. The Erdtree Seal is now my primary casting focus. At 50 faith and plus 10, it reaches 285 incantation scaling. Lightning Spear hits for over 700 uncharged. Healing spells restore massive HP chunks. I also carry a Gravelstone Seal in the offhand for lightning fights. The Gravelstone Seal boosts Dragon Cult, Lightning, incantations by 15%. Casting Lightning Spear while holding the Gravelstone Seal alongside the Erdtree Seal pushes each bolt past 800 damage. The buff rotation. We need to stack buffs to get more damage. Golden Vow is an aura buff, and Flame Grant Me Strength is a body buff, and the Physic all stacks in the rotation. The order before each boss fight. Golden Vow is going to be the first and has a 80-second duration, the longest buff in the rotation, and gives 15% more damage, 10% less damage taken. Flame Grant Me Strength is the second buff to use and has 30-second duration and gives 20% physical and 20% fire damage. Combined with Golden Vow, my damage sits about 38% above base before I swing. Flask of Wondrous Physic is the third buff in the rotation. For endgame, I run the Holy Shrouding Cracked tier, 20% holy damage for 3 minutes, and Opaline Hard tier, 15% all damage negation for 3 minutes. If I'm using the Blasphemous Blade instead of a holy weapon, I swap Holy Shrouding for the Flame Shrouding Cracked tier, since Taker's Flames deals fire. I walk through the fog and prepare myself. The peak buff stack with all multipliers. Golden Vow, 1.15, times Flame Grant Me Strength, 1.20, times Holy Shrouding Tier, 1.20, times Sacred Scorpion Charm, 1.12, times Shard of Alexander, 1.15 on weapon skills. These multiply together about 2.13 times. That's a 113% damage increase on holy weapon skills before you touch the boss.
You were incredible at math.
During the fight, I refresh Flame Grant Me Strength every 30 seconds. It casts fast enough to fit into most boss recovery animations. Golden Vow lasts 80 seconds and needs 1 refresh per fight. For healing, Lord's Heal restores about 1,200 HP in 1 cast at 285 incantation scaling. I use it when my health dips below half. For chip damage between swings, Blessing's Boon ticks 8 HP per second for 90 seconds, which saves flasks for emergencies. The in-game bosses we're going to be first is the Fire Giant. He resists holy damage, so I lead with the Blasphemous Blade. Phase 1. I stay near his left ankle, the one with the brace, and dodge the shield slam. Each Taker's Flames into his legs deals about 2,100 damage and restores my HP. Phase 2. He rips his own leg off and starts rolling across the arena. I killed the Fire Giant in 44 seconds, and I did 3,890 damage per opening. The second in-game boss we're going to fight is Maliketh. He is fast, he is aggressive, his destined death attacks reduce your max HP and are annoying to fight. The irony, we're stealing his own weapon for future fights. Phase 1. I play patient, then block, and I guard counter, then repeat again. He transitions at half health. Phase 2. I turn aggressive. His destined death combos have long recovery windows after the final swing. I punish each window with Taker's Flames and 1R1. I killed Maliketh in 38 seconds with 4,200 damage per opening. The last base endgame boss we will fight is Radagon and Elden Beast. This fight will test my Paladin build. Both bosses resist holy at 80 out of 100. I cast the Golden Vow buff, then cast the Flame Grant Me Strength body buff, and drank the Opaline Hard tier for the Physic. Radagon phase. I open with Destined Death to delete 10% of his max HP, then cast the Black Blade incantation for another 10%. I finish him with Taker's Flames by swapping to the Blasphemous Blade mid-fight, since fire faces 40 negation versus holy's 80. Elden Beast phase. The Elden Beast floats around the arena, so I chase it with Lightning Spear for ranged pressure. If it lands for the ring explosion, I punish with Taker's Flames. I beat the Elden Beast in a combined kill time of 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and did 3,140 damage per opening across both phases. The Paladin clears the game. Shadow of the Erdtree. First requirement, kill Mohg, Lord of Blood. He sits in Mohgwyn Palace, accessible through Var's questline or the consecrated Snowfield teleporter. The Blasphemous Blade handles him well. Use the Purifying Crystal tier in your Physic to negate his Nihil Blood Curse during the phase transition, or you die no matter how many flasks you have. After Mohg dies, I touch the withered arm behind him and enter the Land of Shadow. Inside the DLC, character level matters less than Scythe Blessing level. Scythe Blessings boost your damage and and damage negation inside the Land of Shadow. You raise your blessing by collecting Erdtree fragments from churches, crosses, and hidden locations scattered across the map. The damage scaling soft caps at blessing level 12. Between levels 10 and 12, each level adds about 5.7% damage. After level 12, that drops to about 1.3% per level. Reach blessing 12 before fighting any remembrance boss in the DLC. The practical progression: rush to blessing 5 before Castle Ensis and Rallana. Reach blessing 8 before Shadowkeep and Mesmer. Hit blessing 12 before Romina and anything beyond her. My first stop in the Land of Shadow, the Church of Consolation in Gravesite Plain.
Hello there.
A black knight guards the area. I kill him, and he drops the black steel great hammer. This will be the weapon we are going to use for the paladin in the DLC. The black steel great hammer is a great hammer that scales with strength, dex, and faith. I infuse it with Sacred Affinity, which converts its scaling to favor faith and adds holy damage to every swing. The special property, its guard counter, releases an explosion of holy damage that scales with faith alone. The explosion has a 3-meter radius around the impact point. I can block an attack, press guard counter, and the weapon does good damage. I upgrade the black steel great hammer to plus 25 using regular smithing stones from bell bearings collected throughout the game. One more pickup for the DLC loadout, the two-handed sword talisman from Templetown Ruins. It boosts two-handed attack damage by 15%. I swap out the Sacred Scorpion charm for this when I'm using the Great Hammer two-handed because it gives the same damage boost without the defense penalty. My DLC Spell Edition, Knight's Lightning Spear. I found it in the Scorpion River Catacombs in Rao Ruins. This incantation calls down multiple lightning spears that slam the ground in a wide area. It costs more FP than regular lightning spear, but the damage and AoE coverage makes it a good lightning spell. Against DLC bosses with big hitboxes, each spear connects. Rallana, Twin Moon Knight, is fast and is dual-wielding weapons. I bring the brass shield because her combos drain too much stamina for great shield guard counters. I play reactive, dodge her fire and magic sweeps, punish with Taker's Flames after her long recovery animations. At Erdtree, Blessing 8, she hits hard enough to 3-shot me even at 60 vigor. Blessing's Boon keeps my regen ticking, and Lord's Heal patches the gaps between her combos. I killed Rallana in 41 seconds and did 3,950 damage per opening. Mesmer the Impaler is resistant to fire, which makes the Blasphemous Blade underperform. I swapped the Black Steel Great Hammer with Sacred Affinity and lean on guard counters. His spear combos follow a consistent pattern: 3 thrusts, a pause. I block guard counter on the pause, and the Holy Explosion staggers him each time. His Serpent phase covers wide arcs with fire. I switch to Knight's Lightning Spear from range and chip him between combo strings. I killed Mesmer in 52 seconds, and I did 4,680 damage per opening. Romina, Saint of the Bud, is weak to Holy, so I equip the Sacred Relic Sword and fire Wave of Gold at max buff stack. Each wave deals over 3,200 damage, and the AoE catches her during her butterfly dances. I vaporized Romina in 59 seconds and did 3,400 damage per opening. Promised Consort Radagon is the final DLC boss, and I will have a Erdtree Blessing level of 14 by that time. He still hits like a collapsing building. Both phases are aggressive. His holy and fire attacks blanket the arena, and his clone summon in the second half punishes you for staying in one spot. I open with Destined Death from Maliketh's Black Blade to carve off a chunk of his HP, then swap to the Blasphemous Blade for sustain. Taker's Flames between his combos keeps my health above half, and Golden Vow's defense buff prevents his grab attack from one-shotting me. Phase 2, I cast Erdtree Heal, 42 Faith, 65 FP, during his transition animation that will give me more health when fighting him. I defeated Radagon in 1 minute 38 seconds, and I did 5,890 damage per opening. The Paladin clears the DLC, final build. Here's the complete summary of the best Paladin build. Main hand is the Blasphemous Blade, plus 10 for sustain and fire damage. Swap to Maliketh's Black Blade, plus 10 for holy resistant bosses. Swap to Sacred Relic Sword, plus 10 for crowd clearing. For the DLC, the weapon of choice is the Black Steel Greathammer, plus 25, with Sacred Affinity for AoE guard counters. Armor is the Tree Sentinel set. Offhand is the Brass Shield, plus 25 for standard guard counters. Swap to Erdtree Great Shield, plus 10 for spell reflection. For seals, Erdtree Seal plus 10 sits in the primary slot, with Gravelstone Seal in the offhand for lightning casting. Talismans are Erdtree's Favor plus 2, Shard of Alexander, Sacred Scorpion Charm, swap for Two-Handed Sword Talisman in DLC, and Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman. Crystal Tiers, Holy Shrouding Crack Tier plus Opaline Hard Tier for holy fights, Flame Shrouding and Opaline for firefights, and Cerulean Hidden plus Holy Shrouding for the Wave of Gold skill. Incantations are Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Lightning Spear, Lord's Heal, and Blessing's Boon. Add Knight's Lightning Spear for the DLC. The buff rotation I used are Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Physic, Fight. My playstyle is I stay close, block and guard counters, punish openings with Taker's Flames or Destined Death, refresh Flame Grant Me Strength every 30 seconds, heal with Lord's Heal below half HP. It has good healing of any melee build, every damage type without respecking, Holy, Fire, Lightning, Physical. This is a good stack in the game, and heavy armor with high poise. The weaknesses are Holy Resistance at endgame, where I use weapon swaps. Buff setup takes 5 to 6 seconds before each engagement. FP runs tight at mine 22, and slow cast animations punish greedy healing attempts. That's the full best Paladin build, from the Church of Ella to Promised Consort Radagon. I showed you what to grab, when to grab it, and how to handle the Holy Resistance wall. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment with whatever build you want me to test next. Maybe you want to see an agile ninja or an annihilating mage after our tanky all-rounder. Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.